This is concerning without question. Highest rate of red zone incompletions due to inaccurate passes in 2023. Deshaun Watson was number one in the league, and ahead of some guys you don't want to be mentioned in the same breath as quarterback-wise. Mac Jones. So Watson had 60% that were inaccurate passes as a result of him. Mac Jones was 50, Josh Dobbs 45, Sam Howell 42, along with Gardner Minshew and Daniel Jones 40%. So, two things. I go back to, I think he was banged up significantly more going back, to when he missed the first Ravens game and DTR had to start. And two, I think they were asking him to do some things that he can do but aren't his strengths. So that's why I think you're seeing the overhaul to the offense. They're going to ask him to do things he does well. That is what you should do.
Yeah, that's smart. That's modern sports strategy is, putting your players in their best position to be successful and tailoring what you do well to match what your great players do well and what your most important players do well. I think that's just smart coaching, and that's why you see the smart teams doing that and more teams doing that. But when I look at that tweet from Warren Sharp, obviously he does some great analytical stuff. One thing I do have to point out, it's a very small sample size we're talking about here. We're talking about guys that have thrown 400, 500, 600 passes this last season. Deshaun Watson threw 170. In the red zone, he threw 19, and he had a total of 5 incompletions in the red zone. 5. So we're talking 14 of 19 in the red zone for 6 touchdowns. So he had more touchdown passes in the red zone than incomplete passes in the red zone. Now, if it were, he threw 100 passes in the red zone and say he was only about 68% and he missed 60 of them because he was inaccurate. We're having a different conversation, but we're talking about 3 out of 19 passes he threw were missed because they were inaccurate. I think it just to me that's just extrapolating out of a very small minuscule sample size, and that's maybe a case where numbers lie and you have to add more context into it. That's why you see so many times in stats that it's compressed to a large number. We're talking maybe 300, 400 passes. And Deshaun Watson, even looking at last season, threw a grand total of 171 passes. That's 39th in the NFL. Guys like Tommy DeVito and Easton Stick last season threw more passes than Deshaun Watson. So, again, I think context does kind of matter there. That's why I would take that with a large grain of salt.